Half-time at Villa Park, and the score currently stands Manchester City 2, Aston Villa 1. So much to get into in those first 45 minutes. It was very eventful for sure. Richard, general question just to begin with. Are you quite surprised with how those 45 minutes have played out?
It is a very strange first half. I think 1-0 down after 20 seconds, and then a man down towards the end of the half. And in between that, City just completely dominated the whole match. They had so much possession. They just seemed to be camped in Villa's half, and it's 2-1. It looks really comfortable, and then obviously the red card changes it, and it makes it a little bit more of a difficult second half to come.
How much of a shock, and we'll get into the goal in just a second, but how much of a shock do you think it was to us, but to the players to have conceded within those first 20 seconds, and it was our kickoff?
Yeah, straight from our kickoff, and maybe poor goal to concede defensively, but then after that, we went and completely dominated. But Ederson hadn't touched the ball first time he touched the ball, was picking it out the back of his net, but great reaction after that. I think at one point you said it was 82% possession that Man City had, and thankfully we got two great goals after that.
A lot of the character as well that you spoke about before the show, Paul, before the game, sorry, Paul. On that, and we said, look, defensively, like a few hiccups. Do you feel like John Stones could have maybe done a little bit more, or maybe the defence as a whole for the first goal that Villa scored, Richard?
Yeah, I think something that's probably happened a couple of times to John Stones in recent weeks, where he seems to have his back to the ball as it's coming over and hasn't quite read it, and it's difficult because Villa have forward runners all the time. They want people to get in behind, and when Man City plays such a high line, it can be very hard for a centre half, and just a long ball, and obviously they get in and square it and score the goal, and it's such a shock. Nobody's really prepared for it. You think you settle into the game, see how it goes, and then you go. But before they can even get settled, they're a goal behind. But the reaction, like you say, was brilliant.
And that, of course, then we had the impetus to go out there and get the equaliser, which we managed to do, Paul. It was super Phil Foden, wasn't it, really?
Yeah, he's been outstanding again for the whole half, and great play down the left-hand side, great cutback, and something that City's synonymous with is that down to the touchline, cut back and getting bodies in the box. We've not seen that recently.
Yeah.
But great play by Bernardo, great cut back, and the finish was hard on it looks, and it's balls coming to you at that pace. There's a goalkeeper, there's players backed on the line as well, and it's on your wrong foot. It takes real composure and concentration to put that away, and it was a great finish from Phil.
You've also got as well, of course, when we were talking about before, pivotal once it had moved. I think Zinchenko had done the run, but the pass across the box, Richard, we were both kind of saying, that's not an easy pass to make, but he makes it look so easy.
Yeah, and it's like instant. He sort of looked up, seen the guy, and just hit the ball at the same time. And it's even dipped to get there, and the power in the pass, the precision in the pass, and then the beauty of it is make the pass and move. And he just glides into the box, and he's there to finish it off. So often you see that lovely pass, the player admires it, waits on the edge of the box, and nothing comes of it. But he has the brain and the intelligence to follow his pass, to make a movement into the box, realising what City will do next is the next pass, the cut back, and then be in that place, in that penalty spot area to score the goal.
Of course, he was so driving us forward as well, and I think that then seemed to carry into the team. We were searching for that second goal, and as we say, it was a very dominant spell from Manchester City. Villa didn't seem to bring too much to the table, Paul. The second goal, Rodri got the header, but again, Bernardo Silva with the assist.
Yeah, he's been excellent. They're putting a lot of pressure on, had a lot of corners, getting a lot of balls in the box. Villa, to be fair to them, had defended fairly well, they're a big team as well, but the ball from Bernardo, you'll know as a centre half, must be a nightmare to defend against. He's put a bit of whip in it, but it's quite flat as well. And fair play to Rodri, it was a great header to get in there, but 2 assists for Bernardo, and he's been fantastic all half.
Do you think, and Villa, you said they defended well there, but do you think they'll be a little bit unlucky, that they weren't able to go in at half-time at least with a draw, Paul?
Possibly, but apart from that first 20 seconds, they've not been in the game. It's been complete dominance from Manchester City, and I think after Phil scores, I think it was a good time to score as well. Every time's a good time to score, but the longer the half went on, if we hadn't scored, we've seen that teams drop deeper and make it more difficult. But as soon as we got the goal, it was only a matter of time that the second goal was going to come.
Of course, though, now with 10 players on the pitch, it does make things a little bit more tricky. For John Simon, let's talk about the incident. Is that a sending off for you, first of all, I guess, Richard?
Looking at it in real time, it doesn't look that bad of a challenge. But we've seen the one here for the player from Leeds who got a red card for a similar sort of offence. So when it goes to VAR and you slow it down and you start to see it from the different angles, because of what we've seen with the Leeds player, it's very difficult to defend.
Yeah.
It's not wild and it's not a malicious tackle. I don't think he means to hurt the guy or anything like that. He's just beaten to it by a split second, and it's easy when you slow something down. You can stop it wherever if the foot has to rise eventually. So
yeah,
he got caught with that. But it's hard. It makes it difficult in the second half. It's a tough decision. It's probably the correct decision, but it makes the game a little bit more difficult in the second half.
What can you see City's approach being? I mean, I think you might have seen there at the end, it was looking like Laporte was maybe going to come on, but then actually I think Pep thought against it, so he might introduce it at the start of the second half. But for City now, does it become a possession game, or does it become sit back and try hit them account? What do you think best suits City when we've got 10 men?
It probably evens it out a little bit as in possession-wise after some of the way we dominated in that half. But going back to the sending off, I slightly disagree. I think John's harshly done by there. And I think he's made a genuine attempt to get the ball. The guys got there before him, but as Dunne said there, as soon as VAR slow it down, and I wish they would slow it down and look at it for a lot of the decisions like they did there. It seemed as if they were waiting to slow it down as John's missed the ball and got the worst possible angle to show the referee. There was other angles they could have shown him as well.
Mm-hmm.
But he's went off, but that City won't change. They'll still keep possession of the ball.
Yeah.
Be interesting if he does bring Laporte on, as in who'll take off.
Yeah.
The last sort of 4 or 5 minutes of the half, Rodri slotted in there, and sort of makes sense to maybe keep Rodri there a little bit longer if he wants to keep possession of the game. But then again, Laporte's a fantastic defender, and I honestly expect more of the same. Just got to watch the counter, because Ollie Watkins is a threat getting in that channel, and he won't stop running in there.
Yeah.
All half.
And McGinn as well. You pointed out before the show, got that goal for Villa, Richard. I mean, it's hard to know what does the team do against Manchester City. But say if you're a Villa team now and you suddenly go, well, hang on, they're slightly a wounded dog in that they've got 10 men. Do we go and try and get the equaliser? But then do they go, actually, no, we know how good they are, and they still kept the ball with 10 men, so do we stick to our game plan? What do you think might be going on in the Villa changing room? Do you think they might sense a little bit of, we could get something here?
I think when Villa have prepared for this match, their dream would have been to go 1-0 up and sit back and defend. And then to get that goal and to be able to sit back and defend would have been what they played for. Now the situation's changed. They've got a man more, a goal less, so they need to come out at some stage. But I still think it will be 20 minutes to go. They might start to open up a little bit and start to make a few substitutions and threaten City. But the way the game's gone and the way the way that Man City play, I still expect them to have the majority of the ball. And they won't take risks. They won't send too many forward. They'll just continue to keep it and wait till Villa come, and then they can open them up.
Would you have ever done much training? I mean, for you both, but do you think they would have done much training to plan for, say, if a man gets sent off and doing matches, playing the rest out with 10 men, or does that not happen? Do you?
Yeah, you do, and you must be reading my mind there, Cal. That's great, because Craig Shakespeare, who's on Dean Smith's staff, I was with him with Nigel Pearson at Leicester. He was assistant manager. And Shaky used to work a lot, and Nigel used to work a lot on 11v10 both ways.
Interesting, right?
So you would have an 11v11 match for like 20 minutes, but the one team would always have 10 men.
No way,
so they would work on how you defend when you're down to 10 men, but also how you would attack playing against them. And I was just going to say that when I seen Shaky talking to Dean as they were walking off. I wonder if they're going to try and revert back to that a little bit. But I agree with Dunne. Dean, whenever I've spoke to Dean about playing Man City, the biggest thing he tells his players is stay in the game as long as you can. Yeah. And then look to the last 15-20 minutes where maybe you can nick anything. So as much as they're playing against 10 men, I will still expect them to sit and let City have the ball, and as the game gets further into it, maybe go more attack-minded then.
And they'll probably maybe be looking at that Leeds game as maybe as a bit of an example. Do you think, that might, will be in Villa players' heads, but also will be in Manchester City players' heads going, listen, we know what's also happened here when they have, we've been dominating. Look what happened 2 games ago. Do you think that will be on their mind, Richard?
I think when you're Man City and you have so much of the ball, you can lose sort of sense of how the game's going almost sometimes, because City are winning the game. They don't need to overcommit. They just need to keep possession, whereas sometimes, I mean, certainly going back to the Leeds game, you probably don't need to win the game. Take a draw when you get to the last minute.
Yeah.
But they didn't seem to read the game. And I think because they have so much possession, it's difficult to have that transition to defend in your head. But I think it's obviously still a dangerous game, but I don't see any reason to think that Man City won't come out and be the dominant team in the second half. I think Villa will be happy to let them do it, and City will be happy to keep the ball.
And I guess this fourth goal now, I guess, is the most crucial. If you see City getting that next one and give them that 2-goal cushion, you'd like to think we could see the game out from there, Paul.
Yeah, you would, and that'll make Villa have to come out even more. You know, if we can get the first goal in the second half, the third goal, as you say, and go 3-1 ahead, we can afford to keep the ball, and it's going to force Aston Villa to come out more. But I just think it's Dunne will know. You know, he's captain for 5 years, played centre half, down to 10 men. Concentration level for your defenders is massive, and I think especially as the way City keep the ball. You know, you've just got to. Villa might only have 2 or 3 breaks the whole half, but that's when you've got to be really switched on.
Be on it. Gents, thank you so much as always. So remember, We're Not Really Here is going to join you at full time. We'll be getting into all the second half action, and we'll have a little sneak preview, of course, ahead to our Carabao Cup final taking place at Wembley against Tottenham at the weekend. We're also going to be looking through all the stuff on social media that you guys have sent. So if you want to get in touch and get a shout out at full time, hashtag WNRH, of course, stands for We're Not Really Here. Tag at Man City, and you can either send us your guesses for Mystery Blue or let us know how or where you've been watching the game. So use the hashtag WNRH, and we're going to be choosing one winner. The best setup, or maybe the coolest, or maybe you're thinking we could really do with a little lift over here, you know, raise the blue spirits. Send over your picture, and it could be you we send that lucky shirt to. And then, of course, we'll be getting into all the full-time action as well. Gents, we know our predictions are slightly out the window here, but given that we're 10 men down now, a quick one to you both. Do you still fancy that City can come away with the 3 points, Richard?
I do. There's nothing changed in my opinion. I think they're still the stronger side, even with 10 men. If Villa open up slightly, as City have the players to hurt them, and Phil Foden, you said he's been outstanding in the first half, and I think he'll relish the extra space of Villa attack.
Well, there they are now. The Villa players are taken to the pitch. So Alistair Mann has got you covered with commentary for the second half, and we'll see you at full time. Thank you for joining us. Come on, City.